Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another Grassroots coaching course from ECSC. My name is Coach Mike, and I am here to dive into the practical strategies for ECSC grassroots coaching and focusing on the crucial relationship between parents, players, and coaches. Let's consider first the influence that parents have on the kids in youth sports. And I'm not talking about just the game here at ECSC. I'm not talking about the sport of soccer in general. I'm talking about youth sports as a wide platform. So the parents are going to be instrumental in shaping attitudes and mindsets and kind of even before practices begin. We need to emphasize the importance of engaging with them, but in a positive and constructive manner. Communication is also going to be key. By fostering an open and effective communication strategy, we can enhance the coach and athlete dynamic, right? It's all about the teamwork where coaches and parents collaborate to support a positive environment for the children. Ultimately, as coaches, we're in a unique position to guide and unite these players, but fostering growth and enjoyment in sports is critical. So, we're going to need the parents. They bring them to practice, they take them home. Are they supporting them on and off the field? Are they supporting them at home, kind of forcing them to practice? What kind of strategies do we have to allow the parents to be an extension of us as a club and you as a coach? Well, it's not all sunshine and roses, as we've seen. So let's take a look at a couple things. So these are all articles, and there's so many more that really tell a story about parents and youth sports, right? There's unbelievable stats. I think it's like 64% of referees have kicked out a parent at the youth level. I myself have done it many times, and I've seen it in our league. Granted, I'll say that for the most part it's a couple of season here or there, but it's a very uncomfortable topic and conversation that I have to have when a 14, 15-year-old referee stops the game, comes running to me and says, Coach Mike, there's a parent that's yelling and screaming at me. What do I do? First of all, you know let's remind them that this is a child. This is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's son, and the chances are that parent is at the field also. They're giving up their time, they're donating and volunteering in a lot of capacities to be an advocate for the growth of youth sports, and this is what they get? Let's look at some of these. I completely lost it and punched the guy. Both teams were expelled from the tournament. Parents need to stop yelling from the sidelines at kids. Former athlete, former elite coach says, sorry, it's kind of small over here. Mom shared her experience during her daughter's silent soccer game. I researched this a little bit. It was in Montana. They literally had such a massive problem with parents and the rhetoric and all of the nonsense that the parents were spewing through the games that the coaches and the parents are to remain silent. It's literally a silent game. There's no cheering, there's no support, there's no enthusiasm, there's no engagement, there's nothing. They're silent. How dumb is that? 18-year-old referee says he humiliated an angry dad who started swearing after his son's team lost. I've seen that before. Weapons and drugs not welcome. How pushy parents ruined U.S. youth sports. Youth participation in sports in America is down, and the behavior of the parents on the sideline does little to arrest that slump. This is a problem not only for us as a local area, but all throughout the country and in a lot of cases the world. Parents take this way too far. Let's dive into why parents matter. You know, First, parents have a profound influence on their child's attitude. They shape their mindset well before they even step onto the field for practice. Supportive parents enhance the experience for both the coach and the athlete, but open communication is going to be key here. It builds a bridge for a better and more collaborative relationship. Teamwork is not just for the kids. When the parents and coaches and players work together, it nurtures an environment that promotes children's development. This collaboration is essential for creating a positive and encouraging sports atmosphere. A supportive environment is built on encouragement. Positive words from parents can transform the sports experience for their child, making it even more enjoyable and rewarding. So let's look at a stat here. I want to consider this stat. In 2022, 53.8% of US children between the ages of 6 and 17 played on a team. That decrease was from 58.4% in 2017. They've gone down almost 5% in 5 years. That's 1% a year. Obviously, it highlights a need for us to create compelling reasons for children to participate in sports, but the parents are going to be an integral part of this effort. Encouragement and support from parents can make all the difference in the world. So let's work together and make sure that they create the best environment for their athletes at home and couple that with the best experience for their athletes on the field. What is the purpose of Grassroots? Well, we've talked about this before, right? The focus is fun. We want the kids to be engaged. We want them to have a great time while playing these sports. But we can't sacrifice safety, and we can't sacrifice the building of confidence and the emphasis of learning together as a team. So, ensuring that the environment provides a positive experience is critical. It's been said before that as a coach, you are an environmental architect. That means that not only do you architect and design that environment from the practice, but you're also setting the tone and the culture of that team. If the parents are continually hearing you scream, "Ref, that was a handball. Ref, that's a oh my God, that's ridiculous. Oh, that you're going to call it on them, but you're not going to call it on. Oh my God, this is terrible." The parents are going to feed into that. They're also going to start developing a pattern and a routine that that's an acceptable behavior. Well, guess what? It's not. It's not at all. Stop doing it. Let's talk about some coaches' challenges that we have. Well, sideline coaching. Parents may unintentionally or in some cases intentionally interfere during the games. Well, they obviously want to offer their own advice and they keep saying, "I want to cheer for my child. I have the right to cheer for my child." But this happens with the best of intentions in most cases, but they offer their own advice during games. It can be distracting for both the players and certainly the coaches. I'm sure most of us have been there. But it's important to remember that while enthusiasm is great, too much input can actually hinder a player's focus and performance and ultimately ruin the game. Let's talk about an example of that. So if you hear you're on the coach and you're mostly silent, you hear on the sideline, "Get it, get it, get it, get it. No, come on, go get the ball. Go do something. Don't just stand there. Go get the ball. Go get the ball." What what is that telling the child? Assuming that's the parent of that child. Well, first it's saying they're not doing good enough. And secondly, you're giving instruction. They might be playing defense. They might be trying to contain a player. Well, therefore, they're kind of coaching against your strategy, confusing the players, making them extremely frustrated. And let's talk about what experience that's going to get for the kids. Now the game's over. Now, what happens on the car ride on the way home? Well, if you only went and got the ball, you were scared to get the ball. You didn't even try. That player was dribbling right past you. You didn't even try. Well, Dad, I was trying to contain the player. That's what the coach did. No, the coach doesn't know what he's talking about. You should always go get the ball. You're playing defense. You're supposed to defend the goal. Get the ball. Some of those circumstances are true. They're real. I've heard about them. I've experienced them myself firsthand. Let's talk about the playing time. Many parents are naturally curious and concerned about how many minutes their child is playing. This can lead to difficult conversations if not managed poorly. The third aspect is emotional reactions. Parents can react really kind of in an intense nature, but they usually run high. We know that. It's crucial to handle these situations with empathy and understanding, but also setting the framework that this is not acceptable behavior on the sideline. Lastly, the constant reflection of the coach. Parents might feel that they could coach better, but often don't volunteer to help. Encouraging them to get involved can turn into a challenging opportunity or an opportunity for collaboration and assisting in the team. I've heard many times, as a administrator of the organization, "Hey, so and so, you were really vocal on the sideline. It looks like you're really involved. You're really into it. You really love it. Why don't you coach next season?" "No, no, no, I'm too busy." Well, I'm confused because if you're too busy, then how are you going to get your kid to practice? They practice one week for or one night a week for an hour. you have to bring them and you have to take them home. So naturally, you're going to be there for that hour. And well, they're going to have an hour long game, give or take, on the weekend. Well, you have to bring them and take them home too. So again, you're going to be there. So there is no extra commitment week to week, day to day to coach rather than being a parent, except for going through these coaching videos. So if you don't have time, I hate to be a frank, but sit down and shut up, right? I mean, if you're not going to volunteer to be in a coaching position, we do not need your advice. What we do need is your encouragement, right? That is most important for the child's development is to hear their parents encouraging them the sideline. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna get on my soapbox if I keep going. So let's understand the role of parents. It's kind of vital in youth sports. They come from diverse backgrounds and have various levels of knowledge to bring to the table. This diversity can significantly impact the attitudes of the parents and also the kids, but also the coaches, right? If you have a parent that's naturally fun, enthusiastic, exciting, they're saying the right things, they're jumping up and out of their seat, they're really supporting the team, this naturally is going to breed enthusiasm and excitement on the sideline. Likewise, it could also work the opposite. Parents naturally seek inclusion and clarity. They want to feel like a part of the team and support the child in every way they can. This is where the understanding of their perspectives comes to be crucial. By acknowledging their role, we can foster a more supportive environment for the young athletes. But let's remember, parents are the partners in this journey. Engaging with them positively can lead to rewarding experiences for everybody involved. As we move forward, we're going to explore some of these strategies of how we engage with them and how we keep them on the same page. Communication tools. Let's talk about some of the essential strategies for effective communication. Well, first, communication tools are vital. Start early, establish connections, and set that precedent before the season begins. Send out an email, introduce yourself, record a video, upload it on the ECSC website if you want to. Let them know who you are. Send that positive message. They want to feel included and informed right from the very beginning. This proactive approach sets a positive tone and kind of allows the grassroots or the groundwork to be laid before the season starts. Next, remember to keep it simple and keep it concise. Use clear language to ensure everyone understands the goals. Avoid jargon or complex terms. Keep it simplistic. It fosters better cohesion and cooperation between the parents and the coaches. But maintain professionalism at all times. Approach parents with respect and courtesy, which builds a foundation of mutual respect. But lastly, choose appropriate channels for communication. Use platforms such as Team Sideline or have them be a subscriber on Facebook or a follower for regular season updates, both with the team and with the league. By applying these strategies, I think we can create a more supportive and cohesive environment for all of everybody involved, coaches, parents, and kids alike. Setting expectations. Clearly outline the roles for the player, the parents, and the coaches. Share your philosophy with them. Explain to them what your goals are for the season. If you want to share some practice plans so they understand what the kids are learning, that's great. Set guidelines for appropriate sideline behavior during games and also during practices. And discuss how playing time decisions will be made transparently. If you have one child that just does not show up to practice, well, he or she may not get as much playing time as the others. And the league supports that. We want to reward hard work, we want to reward effort, but we also have an environment where everybody plays. So, as a coach, balancing that is often very difficult, but we want the parents to be able to understand that. So, how parents can support? Well, we want them to be encouraging. We want them to celebrate the children's hard work and dedication, not just individually, but as a team. I think the main 2 points here is let the coaches coach. The coaches are the ones that are able to form that game plan, set the formation. They're working on changes. They're working on a learning environment. If the parents start to disrupt that, well, then we're kind of ruining the whole team morale, and maybe that doesn't lead to a positive experience for the kids. But praising improvement absolutely does. Acknowledge progress to boost their confidence and their skills. So that could be something that you challenge your parents to come up with a superlative for each kid at the end of the season. That could be something where they have a special goal dance, or whatever the parents decide to do to praise improvement, and to allow the kids to know that, hey, we got your back and we're watching. This is amazing. You've done a great job. But also make sure that they're holding their responsibilities firmly as well. They need to make sure their child is ready for practice, they're prepared, and do not allow your parents to stop at Chick-fil-A on the way to the game. Do not do that. Follow proper nutrition strategies and encourage parents to follow that. And that's to prevent any quick runs to a garbage can, so to speak. So I also want to talk about a couple things. Parents spend a lot of money. And let's look at a couple things here. So, the average US family spends about $1,000 per child on a sport, and that was in 2024. That number is even higher now. That's a 46% increase over what it was even 5 years ago. Think of that, 46% increase over 5 years. If we kind of follow that pattern, now we're maybe 50 to 60% increase over 2019. We can see it just as a local area. Atlanta is unbelievably expensive for youth sports. So let's look at a couple other things. The level of travel soccer and the costs there. Low level, you're $1,500 to $3,000 per season. That's not even including jersey costs. That's not including travel. That's literally to be on the team. Mid-level clubs and regional travel, 3,000 to 6 grand. And then elite programs such as ECNL, MLS Next, or any of the Georgia soccer sponsored programs, 5,000 to 10 grand. Could you imagine spending $10,000 a year on a 7-year-old child to go and play at elite levels of soccer? Again, I want to remind you of the statistics. We're here supporting the bottom. We're supporting the growth of the pyramid. We're not looking at the 0.0001%. By the way, I would encourage you to look at the amount of kids that actually make it to college soccer. Look at the amount of kids that make it playing high school. It's amazingly low. Youth soccer is massive. Unfortunately, the idea of having fun and learning this game and the fundamentals of teamwork and sportsmanship and self-confidence and setting goals and achieving those goals as an individual, as a team, that's kind of all gone. It's by the wayside. Everybody now needs to be messy, and it's sad. Let's look at a couple of things here. So ECSC, as of the spring of 2026, base price for U12, about $250. Entire uniforms included. That is shirts, socks, and shorts. Number of games per season, 8. Yeah, you might spend maybe $80 to $100 on some cleats, a soccer ball and some shin guards. So maybe if you play 2 seasons, you're probably going to keep the same cleats and shin guards. So you might be about $600 a year. Let's look at another program close to our area. Well, base price for U12 is $285, but you don't get the uniform. You have to spend another $95 on the uniform. Well, you might play 8 to 10 games depending on if you're going to enroll in a tournament or not. And about $100 for equipment. That's $860 a year. Again, this is recreational soccer. $860 a year per child. What happens if you have 3 children playing the sport? What if you have 2 playing soccer, 1 playing lacrosse, 1 playing soccer, 3 playing um, lacrosse, gymnastics, and swimming? What if you have a child that does swimming, gymnastics, and soccer? You're almost $3,000 plus on that one child per year. That's insane. You have another program. This is a national franchise, but $195 a year, or per season. Sorry, you get a T-shirt. You don't get the shorts. You don't get the socks. You just get a T-shirt. You're playing only 6 games, and you're getting probably about $100 for the equipment. That's still $500 a year. Could you imagine playing a total of six? Let's take this back. Let's take it even different. Play a total of 12 games per year. Okay, so you're playing 12 games, and let's see. We're gonna do some quick math. So 12 games, and you've spent about $490. That's $41 a game. $41 a game. So if we do 600 divided by 16 games, that's $37 a game, even for us. That's nuts. That is so nuts. But then you look at some of the other programs, $860. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll say they're playing 20 games. Okay? That's $43 a game. What in the world are we doing where we're over $40 a game for a child to play soccer? Some of these games are not even an hour long. Nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right. How does this kind of tie into the parents and the support and how all this works? Well, the key factor is the parents have already spent the money. They're expecting for something in return, right? You know, it's only natural that, okay, we're spending the money. We want the kid to have fun and enjoy it. Well, the coaches are going to need something to be able to produce that expectation. We're going to need trust and respect. We need the parents to support the team values. We need to have a consistent appearance with team cohesion and skill. And most of all, a positive and role model enhanced environment. So let's handle difficult situations. We've all seen those. We have a league administration for that. We have referees that can assist with that. But ultimately, the parents are going to come to you. Coach, that referee was terrible. We can't ever have them again. Hey, coach, number 9 on the other team was pushing and they were grabbing jerseys. That was absolutely terrible. I'm not letting my kid play in this league anymore for grabbing jerseys. That's not what we want to teach. So we've all had those different examples, and that's just two of many, many, many. While the best approach is stay calm, maintain composure, and help diffuse the tension and resolve issues. Remember, the club is always there to step in and help with these. Make sure you're an active listener, but don't give your own opinion on the matter. Focus on the team. Emphasize the athletes and the team's welfare in the discussions. The kids always come first, right? That's the very first thing we learned in any of the grassroots training courses is we are here for the kids and we are here for a fun, inclusive, and fun, a positive creating environment. Use policies, refer to league guidelines, and support your decisions. Again, if you need that documentation or if you need help understanding or diving into some of that, the league can most certainly help in any of these situations. We also need to ask the kids if they're having fun. We need to ask the parents, are they enjoying watching their kids? The answer should be 100% yes. But let's promote rest. Highlight the importance of adequate sleep and proper nutrition. Again, we're not going to Chick-fil-A and eating a milkshake and a chicken minis before the game, 10 minutes before the game because the kid was late getting up. We don't want to do that. Ultimately, we also don't want the kid going to bed at 3 a.m. to wake up for an 8:30 match. Again, not a great idea. We need to focus on teamwork. Emphasize collaboration and supporting your teammates' efforts. And let the kids speak. Allow the children to express their feelings and their thoughts about a practice, about a game. Allow the kids to have that open line of communication with you, the coach. Rules for coaches. Well, of course, we have Team Sideline and other team apps. We have weekly updates throughout the league to keep parents informed and engaged. Schedule check-ins with your parents. Talk to them every couple weeks. Talk to them at practice, and make sure to establish clear conduct guidelines for the parents and also any of your other coaches. Real grassroots examples. We need to make sure that we're pledging to improve. Parents can commit to supporting the team's values and goals. Clear guidelines to help address issues constructively and quickly when dealing with conflict resolution. Effort-based praise, recognizing effort fosters motivation and encouragement among all players and, of course, parents. Use pre-made templates to facilitate consistent messaging with your parents. And that could be, hey, everybody, this is Coach Rick, and we're going to be practicing tonight at 5:30 on field 4. Hope to see you there. Anything like that. And it just goes week after week. The good thing is Team Sideline does some of these things for you and has the communication templates and sends a lot of this out. But a personal touch from the coach shows A, that you're dedicated, and B, that you care about the team. And some key takeaways. Parents are our partners. Although we do have to educate and make sure that we hold them accountable for the collaboration fostering a supportive youth environment in sports. Set those expectations early. Keep communication clear and always make sure that you as a coach and all of the parents are shaping the parent or the child's attitude and commitment to sports in a positive way. That's all I got this time, and we'll see you on the next one. Let's go, ECSC!